Good morning, traders. Gage W. Adams here, and I am back once again with our next episode of the Trader Bacon Show. We have an exciting episode today. Excited to share with you some insight from Jim. Jim is a musician who has basically utilized trading to enhance that part of his life with some extra fun surprises that are new in his life as well that we'll get a chance to talk about. And I wanted to quickly address the background. Sorry, I had some technical difficulties and had to switch computers on the fly. So my apologies. Hopefully that won't be too distracting, but we are going to have a great show nonetheless as we get into today's episode of the Trader Bacon Show.
Welcome to the Trader Bacon Show, where we showcase everyday traders that are getting funded, paid, and bringing home the bacon. Are you ready? Because the Trader Bacon Show starts right now.
What is going on, Jim? How are we doing today?
What's up, Gates? How's things under that beautiful Austin sky?
I don't know, man. I got my head in the clouds today, apparently. Trying to just keep them clear skies going and trying to keep the glare off my head. But we'll work with what we got today, man. Hey, I appreciate you being on the show today and giving us a little bit of insight as to what's going on in your world.
Yeah, thanks for having me, man. It's a pretty cool opportunity.
Absolutely, absolutely. When we spoke before, definitely knew that this is a guy that I needed to have on the show. So let's learn a little bit about Jim and what's been going on with you. Now, first of all, obviously, we want to talk about kind of your history, where you started. How did you get started into the world of trading?
I actually had a friend who was a studio owner who did a recording studio, former drummer who played with me forever. And I went to visit him during, I guess it was like toward the tail end of COVID, and said, "Hey, what you been doing?" And he said, I'm just day trading. I was just like, what are you doing? And he said, "Yeah, I'm not really recording anybody right now. I mean, I just wake up and make my little $1,600 and then drink beer and watch football the rest of the day." And I thought that was really great. So he showed me the very, very basics of it. And he is currently no longer trading as the market got more difficult, but he got me hooked big time. So
That's awesome, and it almost feels like the polar opposite of music, but guess it's really kind of in line with the lifestyle, just on a different side of the clock, I guess. Not necessarily working a lot of hours, but getting pretty intense with what you're doing. So how did that play out for you? How did you kind of make that progression into the world of trading?
The thing that got me was just that I'm a little bit of a rebel and don't like following what people tell me to do. And I thought, trading is a great way to come up with my own thing. And it's very improvisational, to use your musical term there. I feel like I can do it. I could trade how I want to do it. And there's a lot of different ways, and kind of everything works as long as you follow your own rules and discipline. So the freedom of that was really the appeal. I'm a guy who likes to improvise. I like to get into a flow state. So that was kind of the appeal of the market. Was I immediately realized that when I'm on and when I'm in the flow with the market, it's literally the same thing as being on stage mentally. So I thought that could be something I could do for a long time.
That's awesome, and I think it's a great comparison. Now, you mentioned two things that sound like they don't necessarily go together, which was the freedom concept of being able to do your own thing and improvisation and rules. So how do you balance these two seemingly disparate concepts?
That's just because I get to set the rules, but then I also have to follow them. So it's, you would think it would be easier to follow your own rules than rules that other people give you, but it's actually not. Because, you go like, well, I have the authority to change them. But as
I heard someone say a long time ago, and it's really resonated with me for years, that the easiest person in your life to disappoint is yourself. I mean, we'll let ourselves down a lot of times before we'll let everybody else down. So I think just the understanding of that leads to an opportunity to really kind of hone in on, okay, well, if I know that this is a potential challenge, what do I do to address it? So what have you done to address it?
Oh man, that's a great question and an easy answer. It's hardcore journaling.
Wow.
So,
Okay.
I made a private journal. I used to do it on paper. So
Mhm.
I used every single day when I was trading options, I would do it on paper, write out entries, exits, what I did right, what I did wrong, and I have since upgraded it to a personal Discord server, of which
Mhm.
I'm the only person in it. So I can really be super honest. And I got the idea from my buddy Jay, who's a great trader, and he did the same thing. So I can screenshot. So, I'm putting in every single trade every single day. Not only that, but how I feel about it. And, the things like that, like even the days I don't trade, for example, my number one rule is, are you too tired to trade? And so if I'm too tired to trade, I still have to journal that day. And
So, yeah, so that actually brings up an interesting question because you, as I mentioned in the intro, and we kind of hinted at here, you're a musician, right?
mhm.
So, and you're actually you actually play gigs. You're out there in the world. You're not like a musician in your basement. You're a musician in the world, right?
Yeah, like we tour all over the
Okay.
world. You know,
So,
mhm.
the obviously most live music is taking place at what time of day?
Usually 10 to 2 at night. And
Right.
yeah, and depending on where you're at, like I told you in the pregame about trading options backstage in the middle of Austria or somewhere, and the market over there, our New York Open is about 3:30 in the afternoon in the European countries we're usually in. So it's definitely a big adjustment to change up your flow and all that, because I only trade the Open, so the Open might be a different time for me.
Right. Well, and that's the thing. So if you're here in the States, because I know you're here in Central Zone. So if
Mhm.
you're here in the States and you're playing till 2 o'clock in the morning, market opens at 8:30, and as we discussed, your trading time is open. You don't trade the afternoon, evening session, overnights, or anything
Yep.
like that, right?
No,
So therein lies the question about how tired are you, right?
that's it. That's why it's rule number one. Because the only days where I really mess up and break the rules are, when I guess I have that mental thing where it's if I'm too tired, I don't have as much of a risk aversion that I normally would.
Gotcha. So, in terms of managing that and kind of going through your process, now everybody's got their process. Some of them, it's a big, wide, long, extended process. For some people, it's very quick and simple. But what is it that's important for you? You get up, you decide that you're awake, you're ready to go, and it's time to get into some trading. What is your process to get into the charts and be ready to trade?
Well, one of the things that I do when I'm home and I'm not on tour, I repair instruments. So
Mhm.
my day entirely is I'm standing at a bench with a computer above it, and I've got my charts up. But I keep my hands busy by fixing guitars all day. And yeah, there we go. There's
Yeah.
the charts. So yeah, I'm looking at that, but that's kind of keeping me from being busy. But so anyway, in the mornings, I wake up about 30 minutes to an hour before market open. I like to be at the charts at least 15 minutes before market open because my process doesn't take very long. I can kind of take you through that if you like.
Yeah, let's have a look and see what that looks like for you, because I think that's really helpful for a lot of people to just kind of see what that actually looks like, because I think that's, again, it's going to be different for everybody.
Yeah. So I'm only on ES, so I'll pop up here and be. I usually start on the weekly, and and size that a little better. And I just look at it and I go, all right, are we in a like right now we're in a downtrend right here on the
Mhm.
weekly, and then so that's easy. I pop down to the daily, see what's going on there, and then I pop over here to the 4 hour, you know, um, and then by the time I work my way up to the 5 minute chart is where I'm ready to execute.
Okay.
You can see these little boxes here. That's just our Asia, London, and New York AM sessions that I have just blocked off, just so I could see what's going on overnight, even though I
Gotcha.
don't trade overnight.
So what do you get from that range? What does that tell you? Because we just saw your weeklies showing a downtrend. Clearly, right here, you're looking at an uptrend in terms of recent activity.
Yep.
So what does that tell you in terms of what you're looking for in a potential trade?
Well, today it was an interesting day because I had a bearish bias, and so what I'll do, I'll go ahead and pull a fib like on say this hourly here,
Mm-hmm.
and go ahead and roll that for you. So I'll pull that. And then what I'm looking for is I'm looking for my system to hit somewhere in this golden zone between the 618 and the 786.
Okay.
When I go down to the 5-minute chart, and it's a little sad because I have to show you a loss today, unfortunately.
It happens.
But you know what? I'm following my rules, and I'm walking away red today, which is very difficult to me. I'm a very aggressive trader, but got a little podcast to be on, so I can't be on the charts all day. So
right. Well, we appreciate that. Everybody say thank you to Jim for being here with us in spite of being in a red day.
So check this out. I'm going to show you my entry. So my entry was here on this little 707, and I actually stopped out, as you can see. That was my short entry, but I stopped out on that right up here, and
Right.
sadly, because I was in profit a little bit, so clearly today my bias was wrong, and we're heading up today. But what I can show you that I thought was pretty cool, I don't know if you're ready to get into like execution, because that's kind of the cool part about what I do.
Let's take a look at it, man. We always want to see the cool part. While we get into that, real quick, for all you viewers, make sure you check out that form on there where it says giveaway. Fill that out. We will be giving away 3 Apex Trader funding evaluations at the end of the show, and that is your way in. So if you haven't watched the show before, make sure you fill that out. For those of you repeats, you guys already know the drill. Get that filled out so you get a chance at winning one of those evaluations as we wrap up here today. All right, so let's take a look at some execution here.
All right, cool. So the centerpiece of my execution of my trading, all in all, completely, is this stochastic RSI.
Okay.
And that's this oscillator down at the bottom. And what it does is it times tops and bottoms. And so just like a quick little side note, coming from the options game, I was trading 0 DTEs and always trying to answer the question of what's the bottom, where's the top, where's the bottom. And that stochastic is a really good way of doing that as long as you're on the right side of it. So let me show you what to look at here. So you can see my cursor down at the bottom is these, it ranges from a 0 to 100 here. And whenever it crosses 20 heading up is usually the good entry for bullish.
Okay.
Like right here, and right here. And you can see these little spots. So like, let's say you saw this crossing the 20 right here, or even right here. You had that was the best entry for that move up.
Okay.
And so I'm combining that with my overall bias, which sadly was wrong today. I was really hoping I could show you a winning trade this morning, but I'll draw a little trend line here as long as I've got 2 tops that I can go across. If I see this break over the 20 down here and this breaking a trend line, that's a really, really good trade.
Okay.
And so every time that happens, basically you could take your little trend line. As long as you got a couple of tops, you can drag it across. Got this, you got the cross down here. And that's a really good way to scalp a move with a very, very high probability of a few ticks. So as you can see, every time this crossed 20 today, it gave you a nice little pop. And the times that it didn't were the bearish times. So let's say like right here, let me do this one. So let's say right here, we had our same signal, this trend line breaking, we're crossing the 80, which is our bearish signal. And this one did not pan out because we're on the wrong side. So
Gotcha.
yeah, so that's the key. I mean, it's simple, very, very simple.
Right. Okay. So with all of that in mind, obviously what you've got blocked out there in terms of your levels and or I guess the ranges from the different sessions and whatnot, what is all of that telling you? What information do you glean from those pieces of information?
The boxes here are something that it's just kind of, I'm hanging on to it because I got used to seeing it for when the sessions begin and end. But I was doing a lot of ICT concepts for one of his things is if the London market breaks the high and the low of the Asia market, then usually you're going to get a day where you're hitting both sides. And so that's actually kind of what I was expecting today. I was expecting that we would get this pop and that it would dump off. So that's where I was wrong this morning. But if I go back, on different days, like you either get a continuation or you get a reversal. So like, this would be Friday would be an example of a reversal of that. So, we were heading out of London down through New York AM, and then we took it all back and then some,
Gotcha. Okay. So you're talking about two completely opposite expectations. It's either going to bounce or it's going to reverse. So what piece of information, what are you looking for to decide what you believe is going to happen, whether that's going to be that reversal or that bounce?
The higher time frame.
Okay.
So I do a lot of stuff on the hourly. Kind of the hourly is my little bellwether for what's going on. So if we look at Friday, like this is where Friday happened, and we're downtrending from Thursday. So so that would be a day where I was expecting bearish, and a lot of times I'm expecting bearish in general. I'm overall, I really like playing the short side. So the long side gives me more trouble than the short for sure.
I know a lot of people like that. I've absolutely been in that boat myself. Now, obviously, we're not going to, disclose this, or we're going to disclose that this is not to be determined as any sort of financial advice, guarantees, promises, or any such thing. But you mentioned to me that your winning percentage on your strategy was pretty high. Would you be open to expanding on that a little bit?
Yeah, through the month of God, what month are we in? I got a little baby brain going on, but the last month on my main PA, I had a 92% win rate. But that's it. It ranges between about 75 and 90 normally for just taking small scalps. And even today, this trade that I took, it went 30 ticks in my favor. I mean, I could have taken profit on it and done that, but I've been trying to move to a 2-to-1 risk reward. So
that was going to be my next question. So with that percentage, what is your typical risk reward ratio? Because that's really the other piece of the math that kind of tells the big picture.
Well, I would like it to be higher, but it's actually a negative risk reward.
Right.
I normally take a few ticks in my favor and risk about twice that on a loss, because I just don't get that many losses. So I'd rather pop in, grab my little bit of the market and walk.
Okay. So you're basically currently looking at like a 1-to-2 risk reward ratio, and you want to transition that into a 2-to-1, seeing
Correct.
if you can maintain at least pretty close to that win percentage. Is that a pretty fair assessment?
Yeah, I think historically that, doing some back testing, I think I can keep about a 70% if I adjust that risk reward. And time will tell. I do prefer the trading of being in and out quickly and having the high win rate. Just for my personality and how I like to do things, that's more fun.
Right.
Then I really hate giving anything back. I'd rather take a small win every day than like today where I gave back a bunch.
And of course, we always know that that happens and there's no perfect system. So really it ultimately comes down to finding that strategy that works with your psychology, your personality, and your, well, oh gosh, what's the word I'm looking for? Your ability, well, your pain threshold, I suppose. Right.
Yeah, a
So
lot of it is that.
so just managing that and knowing yourself as a trader is a valuable piece of information to have as you look at what it is that you're going to trade and how you're going to trade it.
Yeah, and going into the like talking about just prop firms in general, the reason I'm investigating the having a higher RR and longer moves is getting into that deep into that PA with padding kind of situation. I feel like my method of stochastic scalping,
Mhm.
it's really, really good for for staying ahead of trailing drawdown and for passing evaluations and for for getting to payouts not super fast but getting there. And I feel like it would be more beneficial once I get padding to do some of these longer trades. So that's kind of why I'm transitioning a little bit there.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Well, I mean, I think this is some great stuff looking at the charts and seeing what you're looking at. I know personally, and I think I've said this on the show before, I'm very visual. For me, all of my trading style is all very visual. I'm looking for things. I know that's pretty typical, but being able to see how somebody else is seeing the market or what it is that they're looking for is just so incredibly helpful to me to be able to get an idea of what else might be functional for me, what else might be valuable information, and how I could implement something like this. So hopefully the viewers are getting a good sense of that as well.
Oh
So
yeah.
all of that aside, I know we've had a chance to talk a little bit about the markets and you getting in, into trading and everything like that. But if you're open to talking about it, you have a new feature, I guess, if you will, in your life, don't you?
Yeah, we have our brand new baby. We're our first child, so pretty excited about that. So, a nice surprise at 41 years of age.
Well, congratulations on that. Now, that obviously is a major life change because you said this is your first baby, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so what? And look, I'm going to bring everything right back around to trading because that's who I am and what I do. So, how would you say trading has impacted your ability? Now, first of all, how long has it been? How old is she now?
She is 3 weeks old.
Oh my goodness. So, as you start to think about life as a father, as you start to think about, the way that you spend your time, the way that you live your life, what do you think trading brings to this new facet of your life as a father?
Man, I'll tell you, it makes me respect my rules more
Mhm.
because I see the opportunity here that I'm given every day in the market. It's definitely the most lucrative thing I've ever tried to do by a long shot. I mean, playing the guitar isn't exactly a good way to get rich, but
But for
uh,
the few and
you
far
know,
between, right?
yeah, from a family perspective, it definitely makes me want to just follow my rules. I want to be good. I want to follow my system. Like my system's great and I love it. I just want to do that every day. I want to, continue doing what I'm doing as far as not putting all of my eggs in the trading basket. I mean, maybe one day that if I would get really, really good at it, that would be the only thing I do. But I like staying busy and doing a variety of things and using it as a great supplement and maybe the thing that can save for the future. That might be a thing that could pay for schooling and healthcare and all of that good stuff moving forward. It's definitely. Oh, I've got one more thing about that too, and you'll appreciate this, Gates. But I feel like trading will make you a better person because it points out all your flaws and your weaknesses, and you got to figure those things out or you won't succeed. So, that's been. I mean, I look at a picture of myself from 3 years ago before I started trading, and I don't even look like the same person. It's
Wow.
yeah.
And that's an interesting point because yes, 100%. Are you disciplined? Is that going to
Way
make you
more,
a better
way
person
more.
in life? Is that going to make you a better trader? Is that going to make you a better parent and a better husband and all of these things? That we don't live in a vacuum. And when you have this immediate feedback of trading results, it can be a great indicator of things that you might you might want to work on, and things that are your strengths that you can lean on. I think that's a huge point, and one that we've never had the opportunity to bring up on the show. I love that. So thank you for that.
Oh, yeah.
So what's the next step for you? Where do you go from here?
Well, honestly, having a little chat with you, before kind of tickled my brain a little bit about I'd like to get to $1 million of funding.
Okay.
That's where I would like to be. I think that'd be really sweet. It's always been, I've been thinking really small, thinking like, what's gonna replace my day job with this amount per day, or how much is it to have a nice dinner tonight, or stuff like that. But I do think if I could get a clean $1 million in funding and then do what I do, that could set me up long term.
That's awesome. And speaking of funding and getting there, guys, if you haven't yet, make sure to fill out that form. We'll be giving away those evaluations here in just a moment. Got to do a little business as we do this. So sorry for that interruption. So exciting stuff, man. You are on a major upswing, not just in trading, but in life. And I'm so excited to get to share this moment with you live, with everybody on the show, everybody who's watching the show today. So Scott, I so appreciate that. And I know you're not getting a whole lot of sleep at 3 weeks in. So, being up a little earlier, because we are not on Eastern time, and giving us a little bit of your time, man, I can't even tell you how much I appreciate that. So glad that we had the opportunity to speak with you here a little bit today. I can't wait to see the next steps for you. $1 million in funding. Is that, 20, 50 Ks? Is that your plan?
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, perfect. See, I love that 50,000. That's my sweet spot. I know everybody's got their different form, but the way I trade, because I look for those smaller moves, that 50K is kind of that sweet spot. And $1 million in funding is absolutely very, very doable. Some people take the slow and steady approach, grow 1 or 2 at a time. Some people take, kind of scale it up as they go. But that's absolutely something that's very reasonable within a matter of a few months. You just keep doing what you're doing. And that's, I don't want to say in the bag, because we're talking about trading, but you keep with that level of consistency and make sure that you test out any changes and adjustments that you make, and keep that discipline going, even through the lack of sleep, Jim.
That's it. You just take those days off, man. You don't got to be in there every day.
Beautiful, man. Well, listen, thank you again so much for your time today. I think this has been one of the most fun, fantastic shows. We have some winners. We have Antonio, Charles, and I'm going to butcher this, Oluwashina. I hope I didn't totally butcher that, but congratulations. You will be getting an email within the next day or two with all of the information on how to get everything set up for those evaluations. Come back and see us next week. We're going to have another great show for you. This one's going to be tough to top, though, so we'll see what we can get pulled off. Thanks for spending your morning with me, and I'll see you guys soon.
Welcome to the Trader Bacon Show, where we showcase everyday traders